What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's down, YouTube? It's your girl, the goddess, and I'm back with another one, yeah. Okay, today's video is gonna be about dreams really do come true, okay? But before we get into the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. You hear me? You are more than welcome to think that anything I say on the channel is a bunch of tomfoolery. You are more than welcome to think that anything I say... What? You are more than welcome to think that... I forgot my intro. You are more than welcome to think that... that anything I say is crazy, or that I am crazy, or that I may need psychiatric help. You are more than welcome to disagree with anything I say on this channel, because why? What you think is valid in your world. Let me repeat that. What you think is valid in your world. So if you think Bigfoot and Sasquatch is real, it's the channel for you. If you think aliens and fairies and mermaids are real, it's the channel for you. If you think aliens are real, this is the channel for you. This channel is about freedom of thought. Think how you want to think, unless how you think is detrimental to yourself, harmful to yourself and or others. And if that's the case, you may need psychiatric help. You may be the one that needs psychiatric help, okay? Now, let's get into the video. Okay, guys, so dreams really do come true. So in this video, I am going to... This is part 2. I made a video about this a long time ago. This is part 2, okay? So today I'm going to be talking about 3 dreams that that I have had, and actually life played out the exact way. Well, not the exact way. In one of the dreams, it played out in the exact way in real life than it did in my dream, right? And then the other 2 were kind of like premonitions, because I'm actually going through what those dreams were about. But I had those dreams like years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like years ago. Like maybe it was before I even moved to Houston. So this was like maybe in like 2015 or something. Like 2015, 2014, 2015, something like that. So it was before I moved to Houston, because I moved to Houston in 2016. So all that time ago, and I'm just now experiencing, you know, what happened in those dreams. Well, what had happened in one of those dreams now, or it's playing out, it kind of playing out in my life now. And then one of the dreams happened already. It happened already, like a while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. But I had the dream. So basically what had happened, so one of the dreams, it played out in like 2020, but I had the dream in like 2014, 15 or whatever, right? So I'm gonna tell you about every single dream and then how it played out in my life. All right, so let's get into it. The first dream I'm gonna talk about is, in this dream, I was standing on, I don't know if it was like a pier, like a, I don't know, I can't really explain what it was, but it was like I was over water, right? And then all of a sudden, it was like this tornado hit. This tornado just came, and it's like whoosh, 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 and it's taking everything. Like this tornado was pulling everything in to it, like in its path, like sucking everything up into its path. And what I noticed the most about what I noticed that was being sucked into the tornado was old friends. Like, at the time I was still friends with these people. So these was friends that I had, you know, and they was getting sucked into the tornado. But everybody was getting sucked into the tornado except for me. And what happened for me was I was lifted up. Like it was almost kind of like what the Bible said the rapture gonna be, you know, or what, you know, the rapture. God's gonna take everybody to heaven, and then everybody else gonna go to hell. You know what I'm saying? Or be stuck in hell or whatever. So it was kind of like that. It was like, you know, they say at the end times it's gonna be a bunch of natural disasters and things like that, and that's what was happening. It was like, that's what it reminded me of. And so God pulled me up to the light. It was like this, you know, this light, and I was being lifted up into the light while all my friends was being sucked into this tornado. So years later, I'm finally realizing what that dream meant. That dream meant that I was evolving, and I was evolving ahead, or I don't want to say ahead of, but I was evolving into a different person. And I wasn't, you know, I wasn't the same person anymore. And once I changed and evolved into this different person, I was no longer aligned with my old friends. So all my old friends I cut off, literally cut them all off. Not because well, I ain't gonna get into the reasons why I cut them off or stopped talking to them, but I stopped talking to all of them. I don't have any ties, any connections with any of those people anymore. So I took it as, you know, that was me ascending, right? Ascending as a human being, evolving as a human being. And I'm much, much, much different now than I was then. So the person I was when I was aligned with them, I'm no longer. So naturally, you grow apart. So it was everything from my past. And that's literally what happened in real life. Everything from my past is no longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I no longer have a connection to, I've detached from all things that happened, all things from my past. Everything. It took a while for me to get away from that one dude that I talked about on this channel. He was the last person. He was the last person that I had to, you know, get away from, because he wanted to cling. He wanted to cling to me. But anyways, yeah, so that was that dream. All right, so let's talk about the next dream. So this next dream, and I named all my dreams, so I put all the titles to my dreams. This one is called, I don't want to say which one I called this one, so I'm gonna make up a name, because I don't want to reveal people's identities and stuff like that. But we gonna call this one the World Tour. All right, so the World Tour. All right, so boom. Two artists that I have been fans of since I first found out about them. I found out about the girl, in like what was that, 2017? Yeah, about 2017. And I found out about the dude way earlier, like maybe what was that, like what, 2012 or something? Let me look up. Yeah, 2012. So around 2012, so I found out about him in 2012, and So in this dream, we are outside somewhere. I'm not sure where this was. It wasn't like a specific place, but I do remember it being outside. I do remember it being nighttime. And I am, looking at them. I'm watching them. And, me being a fan, it's like, I was watching, I was wanting to, say hi and things like that. But they were, in the dream, they were doing things that kind of seemed as though they were, they were doing things in a video that made me feel, in a dream, that made me feel like this strong sense of jealousy. Like you can't sit with us, or like, let's make, it was like this feeling of like, let's make her mad. Like you can't sit with us, you can't sit with me, or this energy of like, let's make her feel left out, let's make her feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were doing things that implied that they did not want to. It was almost like they knew. It was like they knew that I wanted to be I don't even want to say a part of what they had going on, but they knew that I was a fan of both of them. They knew that I wanted to, I guess you can say, be a part of what they had going on or whatever. And they were deliberately or intentionally excluding me, or trying to make me feel excluded, and trying to make me feel, pretty much intentionally trying to make me feel jealous. And in the dream, I'm like, why are they doing that? And that's literally what I said. I was like, why are they doing that? Like, what's going on? Why are they doing that? So after that, I woke up from the dream, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it at all. So, because I'm like, I'm a fan of both. When I woke up, I was like, I'm a fan of both of these people. So I'm not understanding why I felt like that. I never, they've done music together for a long, they've always done music together. They've always, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, why this particular time why in this particular dream did I feel jealousy, So in real life, these two go on tour, and I watch a video of these two performing on this tour, and literally the exact same thing I said in the dream, the exact same way that I felt in the dream, is the exact same way that I felt in real life watching those two perform. And I dead ass, I was like, why are they doing all that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why are they doing that? And I didn't understand why I felt the way that I felt. So I stopped watching. I stopped watching them all together. Then I had another dream. I would have another dream of me telling this girl, you got a jealous spirit on you. And when I woke up from that dream, it kept replaying in my head over and over again, randomly. Like, I kept seeing that one scene in my mind over and over again. I'll just be, and it'll be random. I'll just be in my car, and that'll come to my mind. Or I'll be at Target, and it'll come to my mind, and I'm like, why do I keep on seeing that? So I kind of knew for a long time, but I just, like I said, I don't like to accuse people of nothing until I just know for sure that that's what is going on. Even though I already be knowing, I don't just outright accuse people of stuff publicly of anything. But I'm like, she admits in a magazine, in an article that she was, an interview that she was doing, that she did for a magazine, saying that she talks to spirits. Now, if y'all don't know about black magic or voodoo or those types of spiritual practices that people may use for negative things, very harmful, very negative things, to control people's reality, create certain reality for people because they don't like them, because they're jealous of them, because they want to see them do bad, they don't want to see them do good, things like that. So this particular case, clearly this girl wanted to, I'm going to assume that it's me, because it was me in the dream. It was me that felt the jealousy, the jealous spirit on her. It was me that had the dream of me telling her that she got a jealous spirit on her or whatever. So I remember that she said that in that interview, and I quote, "Why am I trying to not be human so bad? Because it hurts so damn bad. But that is the job. No matter how many spirits you talk to or any of that, it just doesn't matter." Okay? And I'm not going to read the rest, because that's the part that I just wanted to mention. So she admitted to talking to spirits. Now, like I said before, people who do these spiritual practices like voodoo and Santeria and not too much brujeria. Brujeria is more of intention. It's more so of negative intention. But I guess they do. Maybe I haven't looked into it too much, but brujeria is more of intention, and maybe they do use certain deities, certain entities, spiritual entities to do these, to make deals with, to do these bad things. But pretty much all of these spiritual practices, Ifa, some people may work with those entities, those spiritual entities, to create certain things for fame, or to hex somebody, to put a curse on somebody, whatever it may be. Most of these spiritual practices, these ones that I'm talking about, they contact or conjure certain spirits. Okay, this person also, a long time ago, before, when she put out her second album, I felt her energy be different. I said something different about her energy. It feels different, right? But I was like, it feels darker. But I didn't accuse her of that. But then once I remembered that I saw an Instagram post from a while ago of her talking about Yemaya. Yemaya is a deity or Orisha in the Ifa Yoruba religion or whatever, and that specific deity is like a water, she like the mermaid goddess or whatever that they believe in, and you got to give her offerings And so people give her offerings through putting, like, maybe give her some fruit or some stuff. Sometimes they'll make an altar for her, but sometimes they'll put the offerings in the ocean to, like, give to her as the offering or whatever. And then whatever they pray to her to get, you know, whatever deal they make with her, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you these offerings, and then but I want this, like, I pray for this, or whatever it is, I'm manifesting this, and in exchange for, you know, whatever it is. So anyways, in the E5 religion, these entities or these deities also, I ain't even gonna get into all that, but anyways, that was my proof. This person talks to spirits. This person conjures spirits, okay? And I don't care about people's spiritual practices, but I do care if you're doing them to harm others, to restrict others, to block others from hold people back, to create obstacles for people, to hex them, to curse them, to make them feel bad, or to make them suffer in any kind of way, for no reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because you don't like her, or you delusional as hell, and you think that person doing something to you, so you gonna go in when it's really just delusion and fucking, you know what I'm saying? To me, I'm not gonna go into detail about all that stuff, because I got videos talking about that, but old videos talking about that. Y'all can go watch them if y'all want to. But yeah, so this particular person talked to spirits, and the fact that I had that dream of me telling her, you got a jealous spirit on you. You got a jealous spirit on you, and then that replaying in my mind for weeks, over and over and over again. And then me feeling that feeling of jealousy, watching their video of them performing, I was like, no indeed, no. So I put 2 and 2 together. Boom. That's how I came up with my conclusion. And I'm very confident. I'm very confident in my conclusion. I'm very confident in, you know, what I know to be true. And if I'm wrong, I am not above being wrong, but like I say, most of the time it's never wrong. And I'm confident in what I know to be true. So this person talks to spirits. This person did a ceremony. Then she talked about ceremonies in that interview as well. She asked him, do you do ceremonies? And he was like, all day, every day is a ceremony, or whatever. Or she said all day is a ceremony, or something like that, something along those lines. I'm not pulling the article back up to read it, but that's what she said also. So that's something that they also do too in those spiritual practices, in those religions. They do ceremonies for those entities, for those deities, for those deities. So this motherfucker conjured up a jealous spirit to make me jealous, because she knew that I wanted to be a part of, or felt like I wanted to be a part of, what they had going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because I do music too. I do music as well. And some other things that I'm not going to mention, that I'm not going to talk about. I just wanted to specifically focus on the dream. But she did magic right? She conjured up this jealous spirit to make me feel jealousy of her, right? So yeah, to make me feel jealousy of her. And I knew it was weird, because I'm like, no freaking way. Because I'm like, I love these two people. I loved both of them. So it didn't make any sense as to why I would just suddenly start to be jealous of them. You know what I mean? I didn't all of a sudden, out of the blue, just want to start doing music. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long, since I was like 14 or something, 12, 13, 14 years old or something. So I'm not, it wasn't something that was new. I never felt, and I had, like I said, I had never felt this way about them before. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, after having that dream telling me that was what was gonna happen, and her admitting to talking to spirits, me seeing her post something about Yemaya, having the knowledge of that religion and that spiritual practice, you put two and two together. You put your stuff together and you create this conclusion. Okay? So yeah. Do not let celebrities make y'all feel like they don't practice witchcraft and shit, because they fucking do, okay? You know, and they'll be doing negative things to people, and then they'll all under the guise of, well, it's my spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But anyways, that's that dream, okay? So this last dream, all right, this last dream that I had, this dream is called Jungle Book. So I had this dream way back in like 2014, maybe, yeah, 2013, 14, maybe 2012. It might have been 2012, 13, 14, around that time. And in this particular dream, the reason why I called it Jungle Book, because that was around the time where the Jungle Book, the live action Jungle Book movie had came out. So, in this dream, I was trying to get somewhere. Like, I was determined. I had this destination that I was determined to get to. But I'm in the jungle. Like, I'm literally in the jungle, and I'm like Tarzan in this bitch. I'm like swinging from vine to vine to vine, trying to get to this destination. So I'm swinging from one vine to the next vine, and then I would stumble across certain animals, and these animals kind of acted as detours or obstacles in my path, like in my way, slowing me down. And the majority of these animals were snakes. So I would get past, I would see a snake, get past one snake, go to another, get past that snake, go to another, and then it was other different animals too. But the ones that I remember the most vividly were the snakes. So I'm swinging from vine, next vine, swinging. Then I get to the last animal before I reach my destination. It's a black panther. So once I get past the panther, from that last vine, I swing from that last vine onto a stage, singing a song with Justine Skye. And it's crazy, but that was random. But yeah, and that was the end of the dream. So clearly that was a message about me trying to pursue music, right? I jumped from the last vine onto the stage. I finally reached my destination. But at the time, I didn't understand I knew the animals represented obstacles, but at the same time, I still didn't fully understand it until I walked into this spiritual store, right? I was trying to buy some some Palo Santo or some sage or something. And I walked in there and I was talking to the woman in there. And all the people that work in those stores, they all are like spiritual. They're either like spiritual practitioners, or, you know, they may read tarot, they may be psychic mediums, they may do, you know, they do all types of things or whatever. And so I end up talking to her, we had conversations, and then I end up talking to her about my dream, about that specific dream. And so when I told her about the dream, and I told her about the animals that were like acting as obstacles in my way, slowing me down, when I told her about most of them being snakes, she said, because I guess she was real good at interpreting dreams, she said, that sound like you were around a lot of fake people. That those snakes represent fake people. So I'm like, oh, that added more context to the dream for me or whatever. So I'm like, oh, so then and I told her about the last animal being the Black Panther, and she said, oh, that sounds like shadow work. I said, oh, for real? You know, so with that, having that knowledge or whatever, having that knowledge and her adding more nuance and context to that dream, and then me going through that right now, you know, right now I'm on the shadow work part. I've been doing shadow work for a while, but that's how much I had to. That's how. Well, I had been doing shadow work for a while, but I still had to, like, I still was dealing with the fake people. So I'm like, damn. So looking back in hindsight, what she said, I'm like, shit, all of what she said about that interpretation was exactly true, because I was dealing with a lot of fake people in my life on this, you know, journey, trying to get to this destination, right, to this stage, to music, doing music. And I'm like, you know, everything she said was real. I'm like, so I went through that. I went through dealing with fake people, you know, conniving people, manipulative people. And manipulative people can be, you know, anything. Mostly people who practice these dark magic and spiritual practices. And, you know, that is a form of manipulation. So, you know, that is people using the spiritual to manipulate the physical, to manipulate or using energy. You know, and energy is intent. You know, your thoughts, your intent, your intentions, your emotions, all of that is energy. So some people will try to manipulate you energetically through manipulating your thoughts and your manipulating your mind, your emotions, your you know, even like manipulating your health. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times hexes and curses can result in like illnesses and, you know, things like that. So anyways, they are either energetically manipulating, or they're using the spiritual to manipulate the physical, right? And so yeah, a lot of fake conniving people. I had to get through that. I had to get through all of that, and now I'm finally at the point of doing all the shadow work to get to release and to share all of that, all of what was all of that manipulation, that magic, that black magic, that voodoo, whatever, to share all of that off of me, to heal from that. So that's me, you know. So I am still in that process right now, like, and it's been a long time coming. But here's the thing, here's the kicker. I found out that this baby mama, right, this person's baby mother did magic to specifically, intentionally did magic to create obstacles for me, because this person was going to give me an opportunity. So I was like, oh my God. God told me from all those years ago that I was gonna go through all of these obstacles, all of these fake people, all of these snakes, and that I was, and God told me from that long ago, and this just happened recently. This baby mama did this to me recently. Maybe like a year ago, maybe a year, maybe a little over a year ago. She put obstacles, she did magic to put obstacles in my path, because this guy, this man, her baby daddy, was gonna give me an opportunity. Because at first I thought it was just all the stuff that I had to go through with the other people, with the people that was doing the black magic and the spell work and the witchcraft before I knew who this girl, or before this girl knew who I was. But no, this girl specifically did did magic to create obstacles for me. So what happened was, I got vocal cord paralysis from out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And I had to, and the only frequency that would heal that was the remove obstacle frequency. I had to do, so I wasn't able to sing, because it would hurt. It would feel, I felt like my throat strain, and I'm not the type of person that's just gonna automatically assume that some magic or witchcraft is being done on me, because I use logic and intuition. I don't just go off of intuition all the time, even though I could. I always make sure, because so that when I do come on here and make these videos and talk about my experience, I could say I went to the doctor. And the doctor said nothing was wrong, baby. That's so I can say that. I can say that I went to the doctor and they told me nothing was wrong. All right. So telling me that I was normal, and the only thing the only thing that worked to cleanse or to heal me from what was going on were these obstacles. Were these frequencies specifically created to cleanse your spirit, to heal your chakras, to remove black magic, return black magic back to sender. That's not a coincidence, okay? But anyways, boom, so I healed. So that's the only thing that will work for the vocal cord paralysis. So that was that was one obstacle. There was another, so it was just all types of things. My source of income ended. I lost my source of income, the income that I was using to pay for music, to pay to go to the studio, to pay, I had, that went away. So I had to find other ways to try to get some money, right? What else happened? What else happened? And then there were obstacles, there were things that were stopping him on his behalf, whether it be his own internal thoughts and feelings and emotions being manipulated because of this obstacle magic to create obstacles. It was one of the feelings was feeling overwhelmed. Like, how you feeling overwhelmed about giving me an opportunity, and I never pressured you into helping me. I never, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't pressuring him to do nothing. It was just like, I just feel so overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed. If it wasn't him, you know, and his own like internal stuff, I had internal stuff. It was like, it was at a point where I was feeling fear of this man. Like, I'm like, all of a sudden I started to feel fear. I started to feel fear because he come from like a background of like gangs and gang stuff or whatever. And I was like, I never been afraid of this person before. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I never been afraid of this person before. But why do all of a sudden I'm starting to feel afraid? So I started to feel fear and stuff like that around like actually trusting this person, being around this person and stuff like that. Then it would be, you know, different things. People around this person telling him, nah, you know, in his ear, like, nah, don't help her. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Stuff like that. Or don't help her. She was born with a silver spoon, which is crazy because it's like people feel like that because I grew up comfortable, that I don't deserve support or help with my music career because I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So make her, so we gonna make her work harder, or make her suffer, make her wait longer because she had a silver spoon in my mouth, as if I'm the reason why they weren't, as if I'm the reason why they had a rougher childhood. Like, you know what I mean? like a rougher childhood, living in a rougher, you know, rougher circumstances. That's not the reason. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. So it's like, and I've dealt with that my whole entire life. I've dealt with that well, not my whole life, but that's like, I've dealt with that from my own family members, from other people at school. Like, it's like, why do y'all feel like I have to suffer because I was born into a situation that was comfortable? I'm not the reason why y'all was born into a situation that was less fortunate. I shouldn't have to suffer because you know, whatever happened with your parents, your circumstances is a result of the decisions that your parents made. Not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have nothing to do with that, or maybe it's a result of what the decisions of what their parents, the generations before them. I don't know. What I'm saying is, people who grow up less fortunate sometimes project their insecurities and their jealousy and their hate onto people who were not less fortunate, who were more fortunate, and act like they don't deserve anything. That only people who live this type of life or grew up in this type of environment deserve support, deserves to be rich, and deserves to be all of these things. And it's just like, for one, I'm not doing it to be rich. I'm not saying that I don't want a lot of money, because, you know, the only reason for me wanting a lot of money is just for freedom, not for greed. You know what I'm saying? Not just to have all of this and say, I got this and you don't. I got all of this and you don't. Or because I gotta have, you know, all of these things. When you grow up with things don't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up having things, that be the least of your worries. Like, things are just things. Things are just things. Like, it ain't that serious. It's just not. A car is a car. You know what I'm saying? A car is a car. Yeah, you know, if you like cars, if you like that kind of stuff, if you like expensive things, that's fine. I ain't worrying about that. I ain't judging. I ain't trying to make you feel like you shouldn't want things and nice things. But at the same time, it's like when you grow, like I said, when you grow up having everything that you wanted, materially, it's like that don't matter. That don't matter to me. But the only reason for me to want, the only reason why I would want a lot of money is just for freedom. You know, you don't have to, you can move how you want to move, go where you want to go without the stress of not knowing how you gonna pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? Or without the stress or the anxiety of not knowing how you gonna pay your rent, not knowing how you gonna pay your bills, not knowing what you're gonna eat, not knowing how you gonna buy and pay for groceries, you know, things like that. And or if you do like just have enough money just to pay bills and just to pay rent and you can't do nothing else, that's also kind of a trap as well. So it's like that's the only reason why I want a plethora of money. Not because I want to wear designer clothes and buy freaking Maybachs and shit. Like, I don't care about none of that. But yeah, you know. So anyways, I got all off subject, all off topic, because that's a topic that really kind of gets on my nerves, because I've had to deal with that a lot in my life. You know, people feeling like I should be treated bad. People who are were less fortunate than me feel like I should be treated bad or ostracized and or made to suffer because I was more fortunate than them. I was born into a situation that was more fortunate than them, you know. But anyway, so yeah, so people around them, all these things that will sway his mind and sway his opinion and sway his decisions. So anyways, but that kind of concludes what I wanted to talk about, or whatever, these 3 dreams. So dreams really do come true. So if you do have dreams, sometimes the dreams are like sometimes your dreams are a reflection of your subconscious mind, but sometimes these dreams are premonitions. So either way it goes, pay attention to your dreams. All right, Missus. Bye. Yeah, I want you, but